guys, it's Jen at the Wheelhouse Project, and I just wanted to do a quick video today on how we receive divine guidance. There's so many ways you can receive it, and everyone's receiving it different ways, and sometimes we're all receiving it in a multitude of ways and we don't even realize it. So this is kind of to help you to key in, to watch for it, and to look for those signs. So first of all, we all have divine guides. We all have guides on the other side who are guiding us really on our life path, to keep us on path. We all come here for a purpose. We all come here to do different things, achieve different things, experience different things in our lifetime. And your guides are really here to get you through all that. And a lot of lessons, obviously. We all have lots of lessons to learn along the way. So they're really here to guide you along that path and show you, next steps, to show you different lessons, to make sure you have certain experiences, etc. Anyway, then you also have your guardian angels, and your guardian angels are really the ones that are keeping you safe, making sure that they keep you alive. I mean, in a nutshell, keep you alive to have these experiences. So you'll be getting information from both, and your guardian angels are going to give you, maybe you have a bad gut feeling about something. That's really can be sometimes your guardian angels. Your guides, of course, too. There's Milo. Your guides too, but your guardian angels are really going to try and keep you safe. So sometimes those strong gut feelings that you shouldn't do something, that you should take a turn to the right instead of the left, or whatever it is, oftentimes that's your guardian angels, because they are the ones that are trying to keep you safe. Your guides, like I said, are trying to keep you on path. But let's talk about some of the different ways that your guides are going to communicate with you, or are communicating with you every day. A lot of times we don't notice it. Of course, there's the clairs. Like, this is sort of the complex, higher level way that they communicate with us, and those are the clairs. And I jotted them down so I'd remember them, because I can't often remember them. They really go around the five senses, but there's also the knowing part of it. So there's clairvoyant, which is clear seeing, which could be past, present, or future. And that is, that often I mix up a lot with the claircognizance, which we'll talk about later. That's the clear knowing. So clear seeing is someone who's very visual. Maybe you see little video clips in your head, sort of thing. Maybe that's how you see things. And a lot of people are clear seeing in terms of they see dead people. They see things, in their day-to-day life that look solid or in form and are not actually there. So there's definitely people, and I've known people that see things all the time. I know I've had experiences. I think we all have experiences in all these areas, but we definitely have some areas that we're stronger in, or they're more the area where we're built to receive messages in. I mean, I personally have seen at least one thing in solid form that wasn't there, that I turned back and it was gone. And I know, I've had a few questionable experiences around that, but one that was very, very, very obvious and very solid and in form. So, I mean, I personally have had an experience like that, but I know there are people that see things in form all the time, and even people in form that have passed over or whatnot. So it might be that you're a clear seer, and it might be, a milder version, you might just see lights, you might see flashes. I know I've seen some of those things too. I see lights in my peripheral vision, or movement. So that's also part of seeing. So you might see something like that. And again, sometimes we don't always know what the meaning of that is. And, with any of this, so always make sure you kind of tap in and ask, what is this about? Especially if it scares you, or if it freaks you out a little bit, you might want to try and ask, and I do this in my journal. I'll ask God, just for a message about, what is this about? Or why did I see this? What is this? What are you trying to tell me with this? And I'll just, start writing whatever comes to me. So that's a really nice way you can channel too. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's another way you can get information from your guides, or from God, whoever, whatever divine being you want to receive messages from. Okay, I'm all over the place, sorry. The second clear is clear audience. That's clear hearing, and that might be that you actually hear things outside of yourself. I know a lot of people can hear from their guides outside, that sounds outside of them, and some people hear things actually in their heads. And it might be that you're even hearing songs or sounds or things in your head. I know that I will sometimes get a noise in one ear. It's a sign to me. If it's the, if it's the right ear, it's a yes. If it's the left ear, it's a no, and I'll hear a sound. Sometimes that will happen for me. Or sometimes it's a song that I'll hear. Like sometimes I'll wake up and I have a song playing in my head, and I'll kind of quickly let it play out for a second to see what the words are, what song it is, and try and figure out what the message is, because that's usually a sign for me. It's not just, sometimes we always look at it as, oh, that's an earworm, that's something that I heard yesterday, but oftentimes that's a sign, so make sure you pay attention. So yeah, there's different ways that people hear different things or hear different messages. Clear sentience is clear feeling, and that's, feelings, emotions, chills, and that's, all of us have probably experienced, or a lot of us have experienced this on some level if you're sensitive, by maybe walking into a room and you notice that doesn't feel good, something feels wrong, something feels off. Maybe there's some people are having a fight there, or there's been something that happened there that was kind of negative, that you're feeling kind of that leftover emotion in the room, or you feel the emotions of a person. Maybe someone comes over to your house and something feels off with them or something. So we all know, like, it's that feeling, it's a gut feeling. Some people get it stronger than others. Some people don't get it at all. Some people might not recognize it at all, might not recognize that they're getting someone else's feelings and not their own. Something to notice. And then clear alience, which I think that's how you pronounce it. That one's not a real common one. That's smelling, clear smelling. And I have had this experience before. I actually just had it the other day, but it's oftentimes perhaps someone that's passed over will impress upon you, like the smell of perfume, the smell of, I know, like my grandfather was a pipe smoker. I know on occasion I've smelled his pipe when I'm like maybe out walking the dogs or something, and like out in the middle of a green space where there's no way there could be pipe smoke. So, I mean, oftentimes they'll do it two at a time when it also doesn't make sense to be smelling that smell. So, people who've passed over may impress a certain smell upon you at a certain time. Or it might be even something, someone living, like you just suddenly smell something of someone, and it brings them to mind. That might be a sign. That might be something from your guides. It might be that someone's thinking about you, that you're supposed to reach out to that person, whatnot. But again, I've had that a few times in my life, and not a real common one, but an interesting one. I think that the one that I have not really experienced is clear sustenance, and that's tasting. So that might be like that a taste memory comes in your mouth. So suddenly you can taste something vividly that maybe was something maybe your passed over grandmother made, that you can suddenly taste, and maybe she's impressing that upon you to bring a certain memory or to alert you to something. So just pay attention to those. But I know personally, I don't think I've ever really had that. I can definitely taste, like conjure up something and taste it, but in my mouth, but I have never had it impressed upon me out of the blue. My most clear is clear cognizance, which is clear knowing. And clear knowing, I think a lot of people either see that as psychic, which there is this whole psychic element to it. I think all of these clairs have psychic element to them, or people will see it as an idea, or just something that that they came up with. And I think what you really have to pay attention to is I find that clear cognizance comes to me in moments that I don't expect it. So especially in moments that I'm kind of quiet, or like brushing my teeth is a real common time, or in the shower, or washing my face, or sometimes even just doing something mindless on my computer in the evening, or cooking even. But suddenly something will just pop into my head, and it's not just one bit of information, but sometimes it's a whole concept, and I have to race for paper and write it down. And it might be a topic around a blog. It might be some bit of clarity around my business. It might be something that someone is doing. I know, for example, I even had a day that I was planning on going to the Apple store in the mall the next day, and I was sitting on my computer, and suddenly I had this moment of, and I sort of see it a little bit, sometimes as a vision, sometimes as but mostly as just a knowing, like it's just almost like an immediate download. But I suddenly was like, oh, I can't go to the mall tomorrow. I saw myself like hiding in the Apple store in lockdown, and I, instead of questioning, I never question what I get. You shouldn't either, especially if it comes like that. And I just saw myself hiding in a lockdown, in the Apple store lockdown. And I was like, okay, guess I won't go to the mall tomorrow. And it was a darn good thing that I didn't, because on the news the next evening, they said that there was someone running around with a gun at the mall and all the stores were in lockdown. So see, you always should listen to your guidance. But I also, like I said, I also get moments of just clarity on something or an idea. And I encourage you to keep notebooks around, because I know for me personally, if I don't race to the notebook and get it down right then, that sometimes later I can't remember. I can't remember what it was, or I can't remember all the details. I think a lot of times guidance comes quickly and very clearly, and you have to take note, you have to jot it down. You want to make sure you don't forget it. And so keep notebooks around. That's all I'm going to say. So that, those are great things. And like I said earlier too, another great way that you can communicate with your guides is channeling. And channeling, I know there's a lot of people that, allow their guides into their bodies and speak, let them speak through them, but you don't need to do anything that complex. You can literally just take out a notebook, ask for guidance, and see what comes, and just start writing. Don't question it, just start writing whatever comes. And oftentimes you will get incredibly clear guidance that way. So you don't even need anything more detailed. I find that I may not always get the exact answer to my question, but I usually get all sorts of positivity and all sorts of directives and information. And it may not be exactly what I wanted if they're not willing to give me exactly, because sometimes we want details that they're not willing to give us, or we can't know for one reason or another. But just to be open to whatever comes. And if it's positive, then you're definitely getting it from your guides. You're definitely getting it from the divine if it's all positive, because they're always loving, they're always kind. Okay, that's a lot, sorry. But I also wanted to just quickly mention just general ways that we're getting guidance every day. So if you're like, oh, this clear stuff is way over my head and I have not experienced any of that, or I haven't, I don't even know where to begin with that. What I will tell you, I wrote down a bunch of things. I get guidance in so many different ways, and I've noticed guidance all along the way throughout life. And I know even little kids, I've heard stories of little kids getting guidance, asking for a certain sign. And you can do that. You can ask for a certain sign. Like, if I should do this, I want to see multiple stars, or I want to see, I don't know, a hawk, whatever it is. And oftentimes we're also delivered signs through animals, like an animal or a sign. I will oftentimes go look up the meaning. Like if I see an animal multiple times, I might go look up the meaning of it online just to see if there's a message there for me. So those are a few ways. I also have like some solar chimes in my bedroom. I actually put them away right now so they wouldn't bug us. Some solar chimes, and I find that those go off sometimes in confirmation to something I'm saying. They'll suddenly start chiming out of the blue when they've been silent for a long time. I've even had them do it at night in their solar chimes. So you know that there's something else that are making them go off. So I often pay attention to those and when they go off, but there's also, different beeps on our phone, different noises that might occur, suddenly a siren or something outside, or you name it. There might be different sounds that will suddenly confirm. Usually if there's a sudden sound or something that's rather jolting or surprising, I try and pay attention to what I was thinking right then, or what I said in that last moment, because there's something around that usually. So pay attention. I mean, especially if you feel in your gut that it's a sign, then it probably is. The other things are always song lyrics. Sometimes a certain lyric will stand out to you. You'll hear something different in a song, or a certain song that means something to you will come on. I've often had also where a light comes on. Actually, my bedroom light right there. That one I usually have off in the evening when I'm reading and stuff. And I know I've had moments where I'm reading something and I'm like, that's a really interesting concept. Maybe I should try that. And the light will go on. So, I mean, I often find that lights, and different things will go on or make a beep or do something electronically to acknowledge what you're thinking or saying, to say, yes, that is important for you. Then the other thing is people saying things to you. So if someone says something to you and it resonates, or maybe it's even out of character for them, like something that they wouldn't typically say, then pay attention, because oftentimes your guides actually speak through other people, and that person may not even remember what they said to you. I mean, I think a lot of times we have those moments that we're saying something we don't even realize we're being guided by guides to say to someone, because it's something that they need to hear. It's a message for them. So pay attention to those things as well. Oh yeah, and then I don't know, I'm a little bit into numerology, not super into numerology, but number signs are all over the place, and I notice number signs a lot, and I kind of like to know what certain numbers mean, at least, the basics. So I usually try and, if I don't know and I keep seeing a repeating number, then I try and go and look that up and see what information I'm being given. And then objects, like for some people, maybe something is very significant to you. Maybe a certain loved one that passed over, maybe like a cardinal is your sign for them, and you see a cardinal all the time, or you see a cardinal at specific moments, or maybe that cardinal is there when you are looking at a house that you're trying to decide on, and that cardinal shows up. Like, it might be a loved one trying to communicate with you. So there's so many ways that you can be guided through all sorts of different types of signs too. I know butterflies mean things to certain people, and feathers, or a coin, seeing a coin, or you name it. So watch for those signs and pay attention. They're put in your life all the time, and you need to notice them. Because if nothing else, it's meant to sort of reassure you and show you that you're being watched over, that you're being guided, and that maybe your prayers or the things that you're looking for are coming to you. And I personally notice stuff everywhere, like license plates, sides of trucks, billboards, you name it. Like, watch for words, watch for signs. I mean, sometimes, I've had the funniest things where I'm, going under a bridge on the highway, and the truck that's passing on the overpass has a specific message for me on the side of it, or some certain thing that just means something to me in that moment. I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. Like, there's so many synchronicities in our lives. So I know that's a lot of information. I hope that's helpful, but there's so many beautiful signs. I've even had my own phone call me crazy to give me a certain sign, like at a certain moment, because my ringer has a certain song on it, and it reminds me of a certain person, and that will ring sometimes, calling me from my own number just to play that song for me, just to bring that into my mind. So you just never know, guys. Watch for those signs, pay attention, and I would love to hear from you what other ways you get signs, or maybe even what clairs are most clear for you, if you want to comment below on this video. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great